You're listening to the Wheatgrass and Champagne podcast with holistic entrepreneurs Mandy Rose and Kathleen Hupp. Tune in each Wednesday to discuss holistic approaches to a happier, more fulfilling life and glittery distractions from the mundane. Nothing is off limits in this series, so grab your glass of champagne or your shot of wheatgrass and prepare for complete and fabulous chaos.
Welcome back to another episode of Wheatgrass and Champagne. This is Kathleen Hupp.
And Mandy. Hi.
And we're so excited to welcome our special guest today, Courtney.
Thank you guys for having me so much.
Yeah, she's going to dish all of her knowledge about crystals, healing with crystals, and how to use them in your daily life to better everything and how to harness their energy. So without further ado, we'll hop right in.
Thank you, Courtney, for being here.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to have them all out and we can play with them.
I know. She brought so many crystals over here and they're just sitting in a table in front of us. They're so beautiful.
And they're tantalizing. Like the colors and the shapes and like you just want to touch them and pick them all up. And I think that's my favorite thing about crystals is they're all so unique. So one person can have like an Amazonite and I could have an Amazonite, but it would be like totally different.
Absolutely. I brought doubles of a lot of crystals so that we can see and kind of like compare the differences so you can see what they look like in different shapes.
Nice. I know she has spheres and giant like spheres and spears. That's how I would describe this table.
Like, there's like wands,
sharp ones and reflective
points
and smooth
and rough pieces too.
Anyway, it's fascinating. We'll post pictures, but okay.
I've got to know, first question, how did you even get into crystals?
So I actually was gifted a piece of Larimar by my grandmother, and she got it on a cruise, and I looked into the history of it, and I found that it was only found in one part of the Dominican Republic, and it's just the most beautiful, bright blue. So, of course, I had to do way more research into it and find, like, you know, what are the spiritual properties, and, like, can it help me, and is it actually doing this? And I kind of became my good luck gem. And yeah, so from there, I kind of started collecting more.
Nice. So was your grandmother really into crystals?
No, she just thought I would really like it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of perfect.
Did she know that it would spiral into this.
And that's the cool thing about crystals is they can speak to you. So like they can find you when you're not even looking. So if you go into like a crystal store, and Courtney, you have to elaborate on this a little bit more, but they say that when you go in, you're just going to be like drawn to a certain one. Like,
absolutely.
Right?
It's different shapes, different flashes, different colors, just different energies that you pick up on. But definitely like the sight of certain ones. You just pick up on their appearance and you want to hold them and you want to walk around with them and you want to like, you envision like where you would put it in your house or how you would use it. And it just is fun.
And do you think that's more of like an energy frequency thing? Like there's an energy to crystals, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So they interfere with our bioenergy field. So different minerals that are in them kind of like act as a magnet of things that are in us, like the different minerals that are in our bodies. So that's how they can kind of like help with the healing process of like whatever you're going through.
So there's like a scientific basis to them, right? Because I think something we want to debunk today is that crystals, a lot of people hear them or see them and think like, oh, it's so woo-woo and it's like witchcraftery.
Yeah, it's just in your head. Like they don't produce real results.
Right, exactly. But as I dive in more and more, I'm realizing that they're part of the earth. And like you just said, Courtney, is they all have different minerals in them. And minerals, as we learned in like science class, in our bodies like draw and pull on each other in the body. Like, you know, is it potassium and magnesium and calcium? They all have these like chemical responses to each other.
Absolutely.
And stones are just made up of these minerals, right?
Absolutely.
Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different ones that work in different ways. So there's a mineral zeolite, and those are actually used in like commercial water plants because they help absorb water and release water. And you can use them like in your planting and things like that. So it's actually meant for growth and for, you know, purpose and things like that. So it helps to kind of link between like what it can actually do physically in the world and then what it can do to, like in your body. So speaking on like a bioenergetic field, like it can help in those ways in your bioenergetic field.
That is so
but
cool.
also be useful like in the physical world.
Right.
That is so cool.
For a beginner's guide to crystals.
Yeah.
How would you describe like where they come from, how they're extracted, what they are? Like, I mean, you can pick up a pebble and be like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's not going to have many benefits for me, but you can pick up this other, you know, quote unquote rock that's a crystal and is gorgeous and is going to like really channel healing energy. How do you describe that to somebody when you're explaining it for the first time?
So there's different, especially now that people are getting more and more into stones, there's different types of stones that you can get. You can get crystals that are just like a pure form of the mineral composition, or you can get things that are like grow within like a different rock that are not as valuable, but still like add to it. So you can get them more like raw. So if they're not cut and polished and things like that, like they're still valuable. They just hold more parts of the earth, like around it and with it. And, you know, people are really drawn to that, like the combinations of things that you can get now.
Yeah.
Where do they come from?
Everywhere.
Really?
Literally everywhere. Everywhere on earth. Like the piece that I brought over is from Greenland, and it can only be extracted like certain times of the year. It's actually not being extracted anymore. So
wait,
what's
why?
out there is out there. I'm not sure why. I think there's just like limited quantity, or they don't want to do it anymore, but they're not, the mine is closed and they're not mining for it anymore. So super rare.
Wow.
Really cool.
And she got her hands on one.
Yes. And I had to do a lot of research too. So like make sure you're doing research and look at like blogs and different things. I use Etsy a lot.
Yeah.
I will email people and ask them a lot of the times for like certification for gems, just so that I know like what I'm getting is what it is. Cause there are a lot of like lab created stones that don't, that are made to look like.
Well, and there's probably a lot of corruption too in the way that they're extracted. I don't know, like the more expensive pieces, like selenite, that's a pretty expensive one.
Not too expensive. Selenite's pretty affordable, but like other ones can be very difficult and like costly to mine. Yeah, absolutely.
So do you have to kind of navigate like corruption, or do you think they're all pretty like, what is the word?
Safely mined?
Safely mined, yes.
Yeah, most of the, like a lot of the like sources that I get from are safely mined, and like their mom and pop. Actually, the earrings that I'm wearing right now, the woman in Oregon, she goes out and she mines for it herself.
Oh,
and then she crafts it into jewelry, sends like a whole authenticity and everything. So it's really cool.
Are there any in Florida we can navigate for?
Yeah, right.
There are places in Georgia that I've looked for where you can go up and actually mine for your own.
Oh,
like
cool.
quartzes and stuff like that. Cause like the earth is like 20% quartz. So you have like a lot of options there.
So do they mostly come from like mountain ranges?
A lot of mountain ranges. Yes. Yeah. A lot of mountain ranges, but a lot of different places, like a lot of places like with volcanoes and different earth elements to create those pressures and different things to create them.
So when you kind of think of like crystals, like, I mean, a diamond, is that considered a crystal, or is that a stone?
Absolutely. Crystal.
Oh.
Crystal stone. Crystal would be like, crystal and gemstone would be like the more like valuable.
They're in the same family.
But yeah, same thing.
Oh, that's so cool. I guess I never like put two and two together. Like you go to like a jewelry store and you get like these gems.
Yeah,
but then you
diamonds
go to
and
like
rubies.
a crystal store and you see these like raw, like hard edges. And I never like really, I mean, I guess they come from the earth, but
diamonds are just like way more chiseled.
I just had a light bulb moment, guys. Like I'm like, oh my gosh.
Certain pieces that I have, like this or that kunzite piece that I have, you could like create that into like a really, really beautiful piece and sell it for a lot more. It's just like a rougher piece.
Wow.
It still has the ability.
You have them in their raw, beautiful form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on this table, you have about, just eyeballing, I would say maybe 30 different types of crystals. If there were 3 that you couldn't live without, like you could only keep 3 of these, which ones would you keep? And what are the benefits of them?
I really like selenite, and I know every person will always say selenite. It's very clearing. It doesn't need to be cleared, which is also really nice. And it grows in long chains. And I've talked about this, the harmonizer, they're called harmonizer crystals when they grow in long chains, like shard-like pieces. And that helps to like bring the energy to like a long-term purpose. But I just really, really like the energy of them, what they bring to all my other stones. Like not only the amplification of all of them, but like the cleansing of all of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like
it's kind of like the angel of the crystal realm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Part of the family that they can't live without.
Yeah.
And then amethyst is really popular too, right?
Yes, amethyst, absolutely. And amethyst is pretty affordable too. Like I have my piece that's just a raw piece. And
Rose quartz.
rose quartz is another really good one. Used in combination with all three of those is really good.
I love that.
So rose quartz is commonly associated with the heart chakra.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on chakras and how crystals can help those and balance the energies of those? Because I feel like chakras, like some people don't even know what that term is.
Yeah.
So maybe we can take it down to like a base level.
Yep.
So chakras are going to be the energy centers that are within your body, starting with like basically at the ground, like your ground level, your root chakra, and then going all the way up to the top of your head, your crown chakra. So you have 7 of them kind of corresponding to different organ systems in your body and areas of your body to kind of focus going all the way up. Crystals, their color really corresponds to like the chakra and also like the element. So different crystals formed under different elements like have an element that they correspond to, and then our chakras like have that as well. So that's how they can kind of like help in different ways.
Nice. And each chakra is kind of associated with a different color usually.
Yes.
And so that's when like a crystal of a certain color can definitely benefit. Like if you're having some blockage in one of your chakras, like maybe your heart chakra, maybe you've been romantically burned or something and you need to rebalance your heart chakra, then that's, correct me, is that the green?
Green, yes.
Okay,
or
so
pink.
that's green.
Either
Yeah,
way.
green or pink.
Yeah.
So you can usually get a crystal of that color that, you know, when you're holding it, it's like speaks good energy to you and that will help you.
Absolutely. That's for me the easiest like way for me day to day to just kind of figure out, do a scan and figure out where am I feeling like lack or need. And then I supplement that with like, I'll just look for a color and immediately kind of like siphon through like, oh, let me kind of look into my yellows or let me look into like, I'm kind of feeling green. I feel like I need some green today. And then I'll look at my green crystals and pick whatever's appropriate and then kind of go back and go, why did I pick that?
Yeah.
Like
Maybe I was needing that.
Like intuitively, sometimes you just are drawn. Like we said before, like you're almost drawn to the ones that like, you need. And I think a lot of it for me, I think, you know, earth is like mother nature, right? Like there's like this grandmother vibe that comes from the earth. Like she gives us light and water and air and all the things we need to survive, like grandmother energy. And so crystals are produced from the earth. And so, you know, you get this guidance from them and they can help, like Kathleen just said, with like imbalances in the body. Like if your heart chakra is blocked or your throat chakra, maybe you're one that you don't like to communicate a lot, or you're scared to like say things out of fear of being, you know, put down or, you know, whatever. And then even with like your intuition, maybe you're not very intuitive and that would be your third eye chakra. So I think it's so interesting that our bodies almost intuitively kind of know what we need. And then Mother Nature like also guides us right on that path. It's like this crazy intersection of energy.
Yeah.
It goes far beyond like what we can even understand, I think, on a human level.
I agree.
I know it's wild. Our bodies know so much, but our minds will probably never understand, I don't know, even 90% of it.
Yeah.
Like, because our bodies are just so complex and they're constantly like screaming at us and like sending signals. And we're like, what? What do you want? We already ate today. Aren't you happy?
So for everyone listening that really doesn't know a lot about crystals, can you just kind of go into like the simplest ways that you can use them? So we were saying like some people just buy a crystal because they think it's pretty and they put it on a shelf. But what are some like practical ways on your day-to-day life that you could use crystals for that would benefit you?
So I kind of use them as like a manifestation tool. I look into what they are going to do for me, and then I use them in the best way that I can see possible for that. So if it's, I actually keep like a piece of clear quartz and a piece of rose quartz in my bath, like just in the bathroom, in my bathtub. Like I know they're fine there and they just kind of help give me that self-love that I need when I'm like cleansing my body and like feeling good and taking care of myself. And then just placing them appropriately. Like if you need something to help you study, putting it on your desk. If you need something for calm, I actually had that blue calcite, which is a very calming stone, on my mom's desk for her for when she works, so that she has calming energy as she works.
That's awesome.
So if you are like a bartender or someone in like a tipped position, which one should you put in your pocket?
Ooh, pyrite or citrine. I really like citrine. I feel like that's always brought me good luck. I always keep that in my wallet.
That's your good luck one.
Which color is citrine?
It's yellow,
Okay.
bright yellow. Yeah.
And then pyrite is fool's gold.
Yes.
So people think like fool's gold, like, oh, this is such a dumb stone. Like it's not worth any money, but actually it'll attract money.
Yes.
Put it in your pocket.
Keep it with you always.
And I like how you were saying with like making an intention and manifesting. That was an episode Kathleen and I like talked about for almost an hour, that, you know, you use the stone and you put your energy into it, and then it'll help bring that vibration and attract whatever it is you're manifesting into your life. So that's super cool.
And I think your like attraction to the stone helps you to kind of intuitively figure out what you need to use it for. There's no right or wrong way to use a crystal. I will put them everywhere. Like I'll keep something in my car. I'll put something, you know, in my bathtub. I'll put them on a certain shelf with, you know, a certain picture that maybe like reminds me of a person that I feel like,
Cool.
you know, things like that. I just put them everywhere.
Yeah.
I like that. So there's some that help with EMFs.
Yes.
Can you talk
Orgonite.
about that?
Yes.
So Orgonite's one of them, but are there other ones?
Malachite actually does that as well. And that's like a green. I didn't bring that one. That's a green one. So that one's really nice. I keep that by my computer. So if you walk into my room, everything's kind of placed very intentionally, like for what they're doing. Like I usually keep black by the door or by the windows for protection.
Oh.
And just like
your
as I'm
own
walking in and
bodyguard.
out, I'm like kind of being protected in there. And then
So
as I
any
leave.
black stone you should keep by your door, by your window. So like what? Black tourmaline.
Black tourmaline is really good. I brought black kyanite. Jet is really good. Obsidian. They're all very, very good.
Yeah. And so that kind of adds or serves as a gatekeeper of your house and your thoughts and things that come in, and
that might be negative.
yeah,
negative
any
vibes.
unwanted energy.
And that's where it would be too. Like in feng shui, like if you looked at like a feng shui bagua or chart, the black would be at like the entry point of the home.
That makes total sense. Yeah, now that you say it.
So what crystals would you put on like your nightstand?
Nightstand. So because of their energies, if you start working with them, you notice that some of them maybe have higher frequencies or are more calming. So by my bedside, I like to keep more calming stones.
Okay.
And yeah.
So like give us some examples.
So I like selenite, of course. And then I use the clear quartz to amplify the selenite. So I keep those kind of together. And then any of like my bluer stones, just because those are usually more calming. So blue calcite, the one that I had on my mom's desk. And then usually some like loving stones too. I'll put those in there.
Have some romantic stuff.
And then whatever I'm working on, I usually have like once or twice, you know, a month that I will really sit down and refocus and think, what do I want? What do I want to use this for? And I will draw cards and light some sage and, you know, just kind of cleanse everything out, redo my crystals and put them in a way where I feel like I'm using the right ones towards what I want to do. That way, every time I get up and I see them, I'm seeing that mirror back at me. Like, this is what you were focusing on.
Yeah,
This is what you want.
what you wanted everything to look like in your life. And this is a reminder. That's beautiful.
I like that. So what about on your desk? Let's say you work from home. So you do business on your computer. You have like a desk from home and you work from home. So you would need stones for what? Like money, productivity?
Malachite is a really good one because it's green, so it's money.
Okay.
It's green for the heart too, so you're staying like heart centered.
Okay.
And then the EMF too, because you're probably working at a computer.
Yeah. I had one, I got Amazonite for EMFs, and I would wear it next to my Apple Watch, because if you have like an Apple Watch or one of those like digital watches, it's like bombarding you.
Are you still wearing that?
No, I haven't worn it in
good.
like, almost 3 months. You guys, this is so weird.
After that episode with Paige, when you said you wore it, I was like, no.
No, I haven't been wearing it in forever, because I started to notice I would get really like flighty and nervous and irritable, and that I would wear it on my left arm, and the left arm is the heart meridian in Chinese medicine. And so once I was like aware of it and I took it off, and then I would wear it like every so often, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel weird. This is like real.
It's like injecting EMFs into your bloodstream.
Literally. And then when I did, I used to wear my Amazonite bracelet next to it. So at least it would kind of like disrupt the EMFs a little bit. But, you know, just to be safe, we're just not going to wear it anymore.
Just keep the Amazonite on there. Don't even worry about that one. And that's the left hand too, is like, if you're testing crystals, the left hand is going to be the one where you're like feeling the energy going in. And then your right hand is going to be the energy going out. So when I wear them, I place them intentionally on my hands for that reason. Like if I I have my aquamarine on my left hand. So like clear communication energy, speaking in this podcast, going out on my left hand, going out. So this is like an intention for me to like speak clearly and have like fluid thought and be able to,
Okay, so you said left hand.
Your left hand is everything
out.
going out. The left side of your body is everything like going out, your energy going out to the world.
Okay.
And then your right is going to be everything coming into you.
Okay.
So if you feel something on the right side of your body, you're like, or, if you're placing crystals on either side, you're going to use that as like a guide.
So you think of like the energy flows from the left up into the heart and then back out through the
Correct.
right.
Oh, I thought you said opposite. Okay, so it's coming in through the left.
Up into the heart.
Yeah.
And then
across
out through
the
the right.
chest.
Okay, and then
back
out the right.
Down.
So
Regardless if you're left or right-handed.
So would you wear your gatekeeper black crystals on your left hand? Like to kind of like keep things out and like
To protect you.
keep the negative out?
Either way. I mean, you could look at it as like on your left hand, like stopping anything from being able to like come into you. Or if you want to make sure that you're remaining like positive and not sending out anything bad, then you would keep it on like your right to make sure you're not sending out anything bad.
That's so
Unintentionally
cool.
or intentionally, like either
That's
way.
something I had never heard, like the flow of energy that way from your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it comes up in and out.
In and out. In one ear and out the other.
I love it. Okay, so you are a massage therapist.
Yes.
And newly certified in Reiki, which
Yes.
is so exciting because crystals fall right into that realm. So you were
Yes.
like a crystal like guru for the longest of times. Then you became a massage therapist and an esthetician and now Reiki. So this really falls in your wheelhouse and you can incorporate crystals into your business, right?
Absolutely.
So how does that look? Like when you're doing a massage, you just plop crystals on people? Do you use them? Like
kind
on
of
them?
all of it. Like
Okay.
I just feel what I feel. Like if I feel like it needs to go underneath the table, if I feel like I need to place it on the person, if I feel like I need to use it because I have certain ones that are carved or turned into massage tools that I can use.
That's so cool.
And then part of my Reiki is just learning like what parts of their energy field kind of need like that love sent to them, that healing love. So using certain crystals in those chakra areas to like amplify that energy and that love sent to them. A lot of times for like emotional healing or even for physical healing, like on like a, chemical level, like assigning like chemicals in the crystals to whatever imbalance is going on to help heal. That helps too.
So Reiki is the practice of noticing imbalances in chakras, correct?
Yeah.
More or
In
less.
just like the energetic field and then being able to send like healing energy. towards
Right.
them. Yeah.
To reset them kind of.
Mhm.
Okay. So is that something that you have to turn on and off in your brain, or are you noticing it with everyone around you? Like when you go to the grocery store, are you like, ooh, your solar plexus chakra needs some work? Or
Well, I feel like that comes like naturally just through like being around people and like studying it and like studying energy and bioenergy and stuff. But Reiki definitely has to be turned on and off to practice it, like to use it. So I couldn't just like all of a sudden
Walk up to
Start
someone and touch them on
diagnose
the
people.
heart.
especially because I'm like I take it seriously and I'm newly into it, so I really want to like practice it with the best of intentions and really put like anything that I found, I have to put a lot of intention into it in order to get like a lot out of
Yeah.
it.
right.
Yeah, that's really good. So you're not walking up to strangers and being like, your heart chakra sucks.
Here, have this crystal.
Here's a rose quartz.
But like we innately do that. Like you have somebody that's hurting and you give them like an extra long hug. Like you're holding your heart next to their heart. Like even though they're not pulling away and you would have maybe normally pulled away, you feel like you need to stay there. So you're connected at the heart and you're giving them that like from you to them.
Courtney's definitely done that for me. I've like come
I do
into
that a
work
lot.
like
Yeah.
super sad or like going through a detox and she'll just like hug me, but it's like that special hug. Like we
Yeah.
talked with Colette last week about 20-second hugs.
Yeah.
And like Courtney has given me like those hugs and I'm just like, I feel like a little bit more revived and like I can get on just for another hour,
Isn't
like
it so interesting what that can do?
it was amazing.
Like a little 1 second hug is just like, oh, hey, hi. More like a high five.
Yeah.
But like once it's a few seconds, they're like, wow, this is real. Like, thank you.
Yeah. It's that energy like exchange
Yeah.
in the field. So that's super cool. So I know you were saying in your massage practice, you have you have to like really go into detail because I'm not quite sure. Like it's like an energy mat.
Okay,
and it's
yes.
filled with Amazonite. Is that right? Or amethyst?
There's two. So there's a biomat and there's a healthy line mat. The biomat is filled with amethyst.
Okay.
Or you
Those
can get
are
tourmaline.
amazing.
There's also ones with jade. There's a lot of
So
different
what are the
kinds.
difference?
The differences, I mean, are just like the amount of like heat through the stones that you can receive. But really, like, are you talking about like the stones?
Yeah, like the stone.
difference
So
in
if
the
you get
stones?
like a mat with amethyst in it versus like jade, like what?
So I've tried the biomat. I love the biomat. I slept on it for like 3 nights on the ground somehow. Like I was at the grocery store and I was like, I need to go back and sit on the biomat. Like I loved it. But I'm thinking of investing in the healthy line mat and I've been doing research on it. It has 7 different crystals in it. And so it starts at the base, I believe, with a red jasper. And then moves up all the way to amethyst at the crown. So whether you're getting like a full-size mat or a small mat, like you're laying on it and it's aligning with your chakras. So the heat and all of the, attributes of it are coming through with the crystals, like, and the crystals are just amplifying that.
Oh my gosh.
But at the actual chakra level. So like at your third eye, that sodalite is right there at that part of it. So, and that mineral is being heated through the mat to your head, not only like giving you all of those therapies, but like with the crystal
intention behind it.
That's got to be amazing. I did a meditation once where I laid on my stomach and my husband like laid the like corresponding crystals on my spine, like from the root chakra up to on my crown. Like it obviously wouldn't stay on my head. So I had that one on the pillow. Yeah. But even that, and there was no heat involved. It was just like literally the crystals being placed on my back. Even that meditation was so powerful. And I don't know, I can't even describe it. Like I just felt so even keel on every level, every plane after that. So
yes.
I can't even imagine that mat adding heat to it and just like transferring that energy on a way more multiplied level. Like that has to be amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you use the mat, like let's say you use it for a client and then the next client's coming in, do you have to clear that energy? Or
Absolutely. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about clearing stones. Like this is like the perfect time to kind of talk about it.
Not only do these stones like export energy, they also import energy and hold. So, and they can hold positive or negative energy.
Yes.
So you have
Okay.
to
So let's start with the mat because I would need to know this. So how do you clear? Because like, let's say someone leaves and the next person's coming in.
So using sage, definitely using
sage.
like my Reiki symbols and stuff for purification, and then like placing crystals and just kind of like allowing it a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And then like kind of thanking it for what it's done, and then allowing it to like bring that energy to the next person so that it is okay to bring it to the next person. It's not going to transfer any kind of energy that's unwanted.
Yeah.
It needs to all go back to their owners.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to be clearing our crystals, right? Like when we
Yes.
buy a crystal and you bring it home, you should clear it first.
Absolutely.
Before you wear it, before you put it anywhere.
Wait, let's back up half a step and talk about where to buy them and how to pick them.
yeah, let's do that.
and then take it home.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be fun. I want to know
So
all
are we
these
talking
details.
like locally or just like in general or both?
Let's go local, but then touch on online too, because it's such an online shopping world.
Yeah.
But also there is something to holding it and feeling the energy. So talk about it all.
Okay. So locally, I guess I'll start with, there's a few places like right actually here in Dunedin, Enchanted Spirits and
Love
Enchanted
them.
Earth.
Yes.
Love them. Enchanted Spirits too. They like will make jewelry for you. There's a guy, jewelry smith there who's amazing. His name is Bear and he's amazing. He'll make anything. He sources amazing gems too. So it's always nice to like know somebody who's going to be looking for them in the markets that like we don't have access to, that go to the supply shows and things like that and just have access to people who mine for them, like smaller businesses. So those shops are awesome. Enchanted Spirits, Enchanted Earth. And then there's one Celestial Circle, I think, up in Palm Harbor. That's great. Those are the 3 that I really know around here that I go to.
I know there's Oldsmar has Zen Zone.
Zen Zone,
They
okay.
have big ones. They have an amethyst that like you could literally climb in. It's huge. It's the biggest one I've ever seen.
I need that.
It's like at least 5 foot tall and probably like 2 feet wide, and it's like caved in.
Will they kick you out if you try to sleep in it?
I don't know. I guess you could lay it on its side and then try to snuggle up in there. So that store, and then was it Serenity now?
Serenity now, yep, I forgot that
crystals. And then there's some in St. Pete too.
A bunch in St. Pete. The Looking Glass, I believe, is one.
So if you're not like
Wings
local
bookstore
to Clearwater, like let's say you live in another city, what would you search for? Like what would your Google search be to find, like, would it be crystal store? Or give us some Google searches for local.
For me, because I like to wear them as jewelry, and I like to find like people that are either mining them themselves or are sourcing them and can provide authenticity, or at least talk to me a little bit about it and have like more of a personal conversation about it. I like to use Etsy.
Okay.
And that allows me to kind of compare to like different, if I found one last night called Dalmatian or leopard opal. Ooh. And it's like really, really rare. And there's not very much of it on Etsy, which tells me how much more rare it is. But it would be nice if I did find a piece of it to be able to contact the person that sells it and ask them. Like a lot of my gems that I have, I've asked people about them. They provide videos and a lot of like the information on the chakras and everything that goes with it. So they give you everything.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's cool. So don't feel weird if you like reach out to someone and want more information.
Oh, yeah.
They should be able to give it to you.
And I get responses back. I've had the best experience on Etsy. I buy everything on Etsy because I just love supporting small businesses.
I know.
And they just went to like carbon. They're like contributing to carbon emissions too with like every purchase, which is really cool.
Oh, Etsy as a company?
They just started that.
Oh,
which
wow.
is super cool.
That is awesome. So Etsy.
But yeah, that's something that comes up every now and then in our podcast. It like is asking questions and knowing more and being a more conscious consumer. We were talking about that with Lisa, this organic girl.
Yep.
And she was like, avoid the ingredient fragrance in all of your skincare products, but reach out to the manufacturer because sometimes their secret fragrance recipe might be a blend of essential oils that's perfectly harmless. So just like you're saying, like reach out and ask for that one step of information. Like where do you get your crystal from, or how is it mined, or
absolutely. Like it, or what do you use it
There's
for?
no shame in asking. I feel like vendors actually appreciate that because they're like, wow, this person knows.
I have found nothing but that. I actually, for the piece of Numite, the really rare one that's not being mined anymore, I really wanted to find a piece that was authentic, and it was really hard. And I was looking a lot of the places, and I found that a lot of them were misidentified. So, and I was finding through my research that like it is very commonly misidentified, not on purpose, but it just is. And so when I contacted the shop owner of the pendant that I bought, she sent me back a full page of how she's been just traveling the world for about 20 years, and it became her calling to source like the most beautiful gems. And it was just a really, really nice paragraph to read. And then I went and read her bio, and her bio made me like want to buy from her even more because of all of the training that she's done and all of like everything that she's involved in. I really wanted to, I felt like I trusted that.
That's amazing.
And then when I got it, it was wrapped beautifully, and I got an authenticity, and just, I couldn't be happier.
That's awesome.
So cool. So Etsy is a good one. Any other like online sites that you can think of that, because I'm sure people could just like Google like, Amazon
get something off of like,
And
I mean, I guess, you could Google it, but I always use Etsy. I don't know. Cause I mean, you can find everything on there. You can find like rough pieces. You can find, anything. You can find even little pieces that you can make your own jewelry if you wanted to, or.
Yeah.
Perfect. What if you like are out of town? So you don't live in like the St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater area. Like let's say you live in like New York.
Okay.
And you wanted to find like a local crystal shop in your like local neighborhood.
Like,
would it be called a crystal shop or like a meditation? Like what kind of store sells them for people that are like looking for their neighborhood?
So when I look up like where different shops in order to find like the different shops that were around here, a lot of the times I'll type in metaphysical. Because that's kind of like the realm that they're operating in, the crystals.
So like spiritual store, metaphysical store, even probably like a jewelry store now, like that we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go on to clearing.
Yeah,
right?
cleansing.
So you find your store. or you go on Etsy and it comes in the mail and you get it in your hand, the first thing you got to do is cleanse it, clear it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so walk us through this process. So someone like just got home, they got the stone in their hand. What do they got to do?
So for me, sage for sure.
Okay.
Saging it right away. Running it under some water too will help, just as long as you know what it's polished with, that it's not like a raw stone that it's gonna damage it. But like running it under water is really good. Saging it, and then just kind of like thanking it. You can put it in the earth. You can go bury it outside. That's what I'm gonna do with a couple of mine. And then placing it with other stones too. So placing it with selenite. I have a selenite tower that is supposed to be a candle holder, and then I use a selenite sphere over the top of it, and I place my crystals inside it, so it's kind of like smashed in between selenite and both of them clear stones.
Yeah.
So I'll do that like overnight for like my jewelry pieces and things like that, so that I know when I go to pick it out and wear it, because I need it, it's clear and it's been clearing since the last.
Well, that's right. Because if you're buying something that was, maybe mined in a not pleasant way, or if it's a piece of jewelry that was worn by someone under really traumatic circumstances, that stone can hold that energy. And if you buy it secondhand, or if you buy it, whatever, and it comes to you, it can harbor that energy. So that's why the cleansing is so important. But I love that you put it in a selenite cave.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Genius. I want to be in a selenite cave.
Or I'll exchange it out. Like I'll put my clear quartz on top of it. So I'm like cleansing it from the bottom and then amplifying it out through the top.
Ooh.
Or labradorite. Any sphere that I have, I'll usually put that on top. And the selenite little tower candle holders are very inexpensive and really easy to find.
And then you can also clear them with the full moon?
Yes.
Like a full moon ritual. I think we talked about that a little bit in our podcast before.
Full moon or new moon, either one.
Either or. So that would just be like putting it outside under the full moon, or under the light of the moon, and let it sit there overnight.
Yeah, overnight. You can do it for, you could like, I've taken like a mandala towel and brought it outside on my patio and kind of spread out all my crystals and just kind of had fun placing them everywhere. And then when I was done with them, I, left them for a little bit, or, just started picking them up one by one and then just put them away. But just kind of had fun in the process and let them be outside to breathe, just like how we need to go outside and breathe and be in nature for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So bring the stones back to the earth. It's really what you're doing when you're clearing and cleansing them, right? Like you're recharging them with that energy that they grew in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll throw them in my plants, or like just outside in general.
Do you leave them there?
Yeah.
Okay, because I did that once, and this was like when I was first getting into crystals, and I like spread them out. I put like very intentionally like one type of crystal for each plant, and I like chose them very strategically, but then I left them there for a few weeks or a couple months or something. And then I was talking to this, crystal guru in my head, and she was like, no, never leave them in the sun that long. You're going to drain their energy. And she was like, now you have to bury them in the ground and charge them under the moon. And is there something to that, or is that not exactly accurate?
I think they can fade in the sun's energy, in the sunlight. Like certain crystals, like the kunzite and aquamarine and things, can fade, but not necessarily like in their ability or energy wise to like fade.
Okay, maybe that's what she meant.
But that's really cool that you used to put crystals in your plants, because I know that there's like companion planting with like plants, like planting things together that like harmonize and help each other.
Yeah.
And I kind of tried to do that a little bit with like crystals. So like crystals that have nitrogen or potassium or things like that, put them in plants that need that specifically.
That's something I need to get more scientific about.
Like crystal companion planting instead of just companion planting.
You just get like a book that talks about all the crystals, and then you can look at like the actual like physical makeup of that crystal. And like whatever, let's say it's made up with like a lot of nitrogen. You put that in a plant that's so crazy.
That it's going to need that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes
My plants over there need some love, so maybe I'll crystal them up.
Put a rose quartz on them. I love you, plant, and then put a rose quartz on them.
Love you, mean it.
That's awesome. So if you wear like, let's say you have a necklace that's a certain crystal, and you get home at the end of the day, you should cleanse it before you wear it again.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you would cleanse every day?
I would, yeah. I mean, sometimes you don't though. Like sometimes you take it off and it just sits there. But like when you do notice that you need to do it, you should. That's why I kind of try to set up things where I like little clearing stations. So like you can get like a little like selenite log or something like that, and then just put things on it and know like when in your head your intention is when I place this on the log or the plate or whatever in the little jar that I'm clearing it. And that intention will come through and you'll be able to clear it. Or bringing it outside, whatever you feel like it needs to do.
That's awesome. Because what's the crystal that is like the only magnet? Is it magnetite? Or there's like a type of crystal that's like a magnet that has like natural magnetic properties.
Yeah, I think it's magnetite.
Magnetite. And we went to like a gypsy fair and they had like rings for men that were this magnetite. Hematite, that's it.
I'm like,
Hematite, yeah. So it's like magnetic. And so my husband was drawn to it and he was like, that is so cool. And it was like a ring, and he doesn't like to wear his wedding ring a lot because he does a lot of physical stuff with like fish tanks and the salt water and stuff. So he's always looking for like a kind of like dummy ring to wear. And he's so not into those like rubber ones that like you see a lot of athletes wear. So he was drawn to this one and it was only $10. So that's like right up his alley. And the lady was so intentional when she was selling it to him. She's like, you need to clear this. It will shatter once it gets too much negative energy. And he was like, yeah, whatever, lady. Like he doesn't believe in crystals having any energy.
He thinks like, it's all woo-woo.
He just thinks it's woo-woo. He just liked the color of it because it was pure black. And she said it was grounding and that was enough for him. And it was $10.
Yeah.
But she kept reiterating this, like, it will harbor negative energy. Make sure you clear it. It's going to shatter. And now he's like, I will like see the full moon coming and I'm doing my own little like cleansing ceremony. And I'm like, give me that ring. And he's like, oh no, I just want to see it shatter. And he's like, kind of just like wants to see it to believe it kind of thing. And I'm just like, no.
I feel like he keeps having these moments though, where he sees something that he's like, whoa, it really is true. And so
that's a
maybe
good
that'll be
crystal for that.
Like, maybe that'll be his final push.
This is a perfect relationship for him to have with that stone in particular. Like that'll be his good luck gem and it'll turn his mind around. Like, you know what? That really did help me.
Yeah. I think there's going to be like one day it's going to happen and he's going to come home and he'll have like a excuse for it. Like, oh, I banged it on something. That's why, you know, but I know like in his head, it's going to resonate.
Yeah.
And then and like, it's so funny. I'll just bring it up now because he does the saltwater fish and the corals and they're expensive. Like one fish is like $400 and a coral can be, you know, just as much. And he has no problem like spending the money because he's like, they're so beautiful and so rare. So now that I'm getting more into crystals, I cannot wait to find that like one crystal that's like kind of pricey. I'll be like, you have your fish and your corals. This is the same thing, but actually it's healing. It's got like healing.
It's going to do a lot more for our lives.
It's going to do a lot more for us. So I love that.
That's awesome.
I'm going to make him listen to this episode. He listens to all the episodes. So if you're listening, honey, don't get mad if I buy a $200 crystal.
When you buy clear quartz, like the sphere that I have right here, make sure you hold it. That's a good one. Yes. If you're buying a sphere, that's a really good one to make sure you're holding it before you buy it. Just for that one specifically. You'll notice that it doesn't retain your hand's heat. So it's going to stay cold. So if you are holding it and it's like retaining heat, it's not clear quartz.
Wow. Okay. So I'm holding
that's
it
a good
now,
like just pointer to know.
Is that if it's not clear quartz, what is it? Just a ball of glass?
Probably.
Fake.
Yeah. Phony.
Imposter.
Fake news. How interesting. Okay. So clear quartz. And that goes for if it's a sphere or raw cut or whatever.
I don't know about raw cut. I just know like specifically for like a sphere. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like from what I've like, because I don't know if you can really feel it. I feel like you might. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know what other minerals might be in like the matrix or like the
in the matrix.
In the matrix.
I'm trying to think.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have any strange practices with crystals?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That like might be really sacred to you, but to the average Joe, they might think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like really crazy?
Yeah. Like real crazy.
Oh yeah.
Give us your craziest.
I mean, I like to bury them. That's one thing that might not be like the average thing. I don't know. I take them with me places. So like I took that clear quartz to honeymoon one day.
Ooh.
That big sphere.
It was amazing. And then I realized that the sun was going through it and burning my towel and causing fire.
Oh my God.
No way.
Because I was like, why am I getting all these holes? Like I got a hole in my, and I was like, oh, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that was like
That's hilarious.
No way.
It's a giant magnifying glass.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
But I bring them places, just put them in weird places, like putting them in my bath.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, using, like you can make elixirs so you can put them in water. You can either do it like an indirect method, putting them in like a jar. So I've done this too, like putting crystals in a jar with water and then like using the water, like I'll take that water that's concentrated for a week and like put it in my bathtub, in my Epsom bath.
Nice.
And that's like instead of just like throwing the crystals in, I've gotten like their potent energy for like a week as they've been soaking in the water and then delivered it to my bath. So like things like that.
Yeah. Do you ever drink the water like with a crystal in it?
They have those water bottles now, right? Like the
they like they'll hold a crystal in place so you don't choke on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of like studies too with quartz specifically on like how it helps keep water like antibacterial free and stuff like that for a lot longer than just like an average glass of sitting water.
Yeah.
For like 2 weeks, something like that. So it's really, really beneficial to have like crystals in your water, and then they amplify the energy that they bring with them. So that's kind of cool. But I don't really typically do it. If I do it in an indirect method where I put it in a jar with water, and then I would place that in like a pitcher.
Okay.
So I wouldn't actually take my stones and place them directly in water and just like start drinking it, only because some of them can be really highly toxic. Like bumblebee jasper is beautiful. It's yellow and black, but it's made of sulfur and, oh gosh, why is it escaping me now? Sulfur and I can't think of it.
Nitrogen?
Do you want me to Google it?
Yes, actually, I kind of want to Google it because it's like really, really, really toxic, and I don't know why it's escaping me right now.
So don't put that in your water.
So yeah, that's something too that like I want to make sure that I keep away from my cats, even though I know they're tumbled and they have like a wax coating on them to like make them shiny and make them pretty.
Yep.
I don't want my cat to pick that up and walk around with it and know like arsenic. That's what it is.
Arsenic. Yep.
Oh, okay. I was like, this gave me a really long list. It's arsenic?
Arsenic.
Whoa, it is toxic.
So and malachite. Some of the ones in raw form can have like really toxic things in them. So you just want to be careful and make sure that like they're tumbled. Then if they're tumbled, you can touch them. But if they're raw, make sure like it's okay to touch them and
even like
don't put them right in your water.
Yeah.
Do you have a book that you read that kind of gave you your intro knowledge to crystals, or was it just like a bunch of research from a bunch of sources?
There's a lot of sources. Healing Crystals for You and Crystal Vaults online I use a lot. Like if I find something, I'm like, oh, I go type it in, and then I just want to read all about it until like Google has nothing left for me.
Google University for the win again.
And then you have to go dig up crystals and write your own book.
Yeah, and then at that point I'm like, all right, I need one already. Like I know everything about it. But Judy Hall makes a lot of really good books. She does like the Crystal Bible, and then she has like a Crystal Bible 2 and a Crystal Bible 3, I think.
Wow.
And they're short.
goes on.
They're tiny, like they're smaller. They're thick, but they're smaller. So it's just kind of like a pocket size. You could throw it in your purse and just kind of like
Ooh, I like that.
read through a few through the day and kind of see, ooh, does that resonate with me? Or just as a reference guide, like if you find something I love identifying stones. So that's fun part.
So there must be a pretty big market for like collecting and then reselling, especially if they're really rare.
If you can craft them into jewelry, absolutely. Like that's something I really want to get into, and I've talked about like for like a month or two now, like seriously, like I need to find somewhere where I can like learn how to do like the silversmithing, because I know how to like look for them and identify them and source them.
And now you know how to market them because you've learned so much.
And they're so cool. Like I love them.
Yeah.
I would love to learn how to do that. And then I could make my own pendants and my own rings and buy them buy the silver and be able to like make them for myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like a fraction of the cost to just like, if you go online and you look on Etsy for a specific gem, you'll pay, double, if not quadruple the price based on whatever setting it's in. Mm-hmm. So you can buy like just the stone, even like cut and everything the way that you want to for like a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
So finding somebody like Bear at Enchanted Spirits in Dunedin, if you found a stone, let's say you found like a really rare piece and it was cut like princess cut and everything that you wanted, you could buy that and take it to somebody and have them make it, and it would probably be cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Definitely.
really
Maybe
cool.
if you had,
I think you're onto something there. I think
know,
for
right?
sure. So that would be your next career. So you have Reiki, massage, estheticianism. What is that word?
Esthetician.
Just okay.
Esthetician.
You are an esthetician, and the act of doing it is just whatever. Aesthetics. Aesthetics. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for. And then you can be a jewelry smith on top of all that.
Yeah.
Yay.
And I like to grow some plants, so I want to learn a lot more about that. But
Horticulture.
yes.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you bury some of your crystals, and there's one in particular that you set intentions with when you bury.
There's one that I just recently got. So because I was looking into like the history of it and it was kind of stunning me, I was like, all right, I really need to like take this seriously, I guess. Like this is a stone that I like, it's not just like a little piece of rose quartz that I'm going to put in the bath or like, use for that purpose. Like this is going to be used for like a very intense purpose. And I had to like really think about what it meant because it's like the sorcerer's stone. So anything that you do with it rebounds back to you. So if you are putting out anything negative, it is going to bring that back to you. So I had to do like, once I got it, I had to do like a cleansing of it and then kind of thank it for whatever purpose it's going to have in my life. And then I will bury it in the ground because I feel like that's the most intense way to like clear it and ground it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one you definitely want to clear.
What did you say the name of that was?
That one is Nuumite or Nuumite. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's, I think it's Nuumite. Nuummite.
Okay.
The Sorcerer's Stone.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the karma stone. Like anything you do will come right back.
It was like, it has like magical lore that in the 1500s, if you had a piece of it, it was like punishable to have a piece because of how well it transmutes energy.
Wow. See, I feel like back then people knew all this, and now it's like, what happened to the past generations when we forgot all of the crystals and we were just so worried
Gotta
about
get back to our intuition.
Yeah,
we're
we were
too
just-
busy worrying about things that don't matter.
technology and cars,
likes, and
likes, and social media. Like we need to just get back to the earth.
yeah, that's like a theme in our podcast. We're always
Totally.
like, go outside and look at the stars.
Lay in the dirt, you'll
Lay in
be
the
happy.
dirt, dig for crystals.
Definitely though.
The keys to life. I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Do you hula hoop too?
Yes.
Do you do that at festivals?
No, just in my backyard for fun.
Yeah, I told her she's got to do a hula hoop workshop.
I know. I need to put myself out there and do
If
that.
you're local to Tampa Bay,
That'd be
come to our launch
fun.
party when we have it, and we'll have Courtney doing some hula hooping lessons.
Yeah.
I can totally
with
do that.
crystals.
I've got like a bunch of hoops.
Hold the crystal and hoop at the same time.
Around your neck, around your arms, everywhere.
That's awesome. So for someone just getting into crystals, give me the top 3 that you think. No, let's do top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5. Name top 5 that you think any newbie should have that will bring value to their life.
I think if you are in it for the clearing and really wanting like purification and just kind of something that's going to like mold well in every area of your life, selenite for sure. Or clear
Selenite,
quartz.
number 1.
Those are like both number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, if you're trying to go like more deep spiritual, like work on like maybe any anxiety or past life or anything like that, amethyst.
Amethyst.
Just like deep soul, like healing, just feel good. Like a feel good.
I like that.
If you're looking for like magic or like to like aid in bringing like any of those like psychic developments or anything like that, something in the feldspar range, so like a moonstone or a labradorite, and those are always really, really popular. People use those for the full moon. I like to always make sure I have mine outside for the full moon.
Those are moonstone
and labradorite. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they have like the wonderful flashes of like blue and green and sometimes like orange. Really, really pretty. So that's 3.
What about money?
Money would be citrine. So we did clear quartz and then we did amethyst and then citrine. So those are all quartzes. So just different colors that go with different things. So money, definitely citrine. And that's a happy stone. That's a solar plexus, not just money, but like you bringing yourself to like take that action and like feel good about what you're doing. Like just willpower, everything willpower. Fourth, or no, that was fourth.
Yep. So last one.
So last one,
You only get one more.
for sure, black tourmaline.
Yeah.
Gotta be black tourmaline or black kyanite. I like to like interchange the two. Any of them that are like those long strands of crystals are really good. And they're very protective and grounding.
Ooh, I love it.
And you said the long strand ones, those are good for long-term results.
Long-term results, long-term issues, and just like lengthening so that you can see like a bigger picture.
Okay.
And those are called harmonizer crystals. Harmonizers. That's the classification.
So do the shapes really matter? So like,
It's a good question.
does it matter if it's like in a sphere, if it's like a wand, if it's a square?
Absolutely. So like the spheres are going to radiate their energy like outwardly. So once they're like mined and the pressure is like put on them, they're going to radiate that out through their sides. It's like electropieticity or something like that.
That makes sense.
So a sphere is going to do that 360 degrees. A pyramid is going to do that in a concentrated point, like from like a deep base to like, you know, a really high point. Things that are double terminated, so they have points at both ends, are going to send energy both ways. So those are really cool, really commonly used. The little towers and things, those are really cool. So those just generate up, you know, or whichever way you point them.
Oh, so you got to point them in certain ways.
You can point them, yeah, in certain ways. And then I like having like palm stones too. So like a lot of the like flat disc looking ones. I really, really like those, especially for massage, for meditation, for your pocket. Like that's the best like pocket stone, I feel like, because it's not something round where you feel like, oh, what's in my pocket? Like it's something that's like intentionally there, kind of flat against you.
So it becomes like a part of you almost.
Yeah, and you can kind of feel it and touch it. Like a lot of the times when I was doing massage, like I would kind of clear my hands by putting my hands in my pockets and just like holding my stones and like rubbing my stones and kind of like taking their energy and letting me like recycle it. But palm stones, I really like.
Nice. Okay, so everything we've talked about thus far, these are all naturally occurring crystals that you can just go outside and dig up somewhere in the earth.
Somewhere
Somewhere
yes.
in the world, you can go outside and find these in the ground. But organite, on the other hand,
Yes.
is a very powerful counteract to EMFs, but it's kind of like man-made to an extent, like a metal that is used as the conductor to attract life force energy, and then a few different crystals placed together, and then it's basically poured into a mold with some resin to hold it all together. And so I don't know if the most common form is a pyramid, but that's the one I see a lot. So I feel like that one, people would be like, okay, now that's hocus pocus. Like you basically glued a bunch of stuff together and said that it's gonna, you know,
Protect
you from Wi-Fi and 5G and all of that. Are you very well versed in organite?
I'm not super well versed in organite, but I know like with your piece, the stones that are in it are going to amplify like those EMF protections for you.
Right.
So that's really cool. Like whatever's in it.
Yeah.
And the metals in it too will probably do that.
Right. They say the best metal for that is pure gold, but mine's not pure gold. It's the next best thing.
Really?
But, oops.
Pure gold.
Yeah. To attract the right energy. But these things, they say they're so powerful that people who make these and assemble these organite structures, they're like placing them in large amounts by cell phone towers to basically shut the towers down. And it works so well, like messes up the frequencies so well that the power companies have to go out and figure out what's going on. And they're like digging things up and they're like, dang it, these hippies are like burying crystals in the ground.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need one for my house.
Yeah, there's something to it for sure.
Yeah.
And
the test. I've heard of that, like the pyramids for EMF, like radiation, but I didn't realize that there was crystals that they put in there.
Yeah, crystals and metals, and it's all very like strategically placed and sourced. And there's actually history to it. Like there was a psychoanalyst who figured this out a long time ago, and he probably wasn't the first, but he, kind of coined orgone energy, which is the life force energy that, keeps us all vibrating and going.
Yeah.
And he made this box to like try to heal people. And it was a box kind of like a sauna that you would just sit in. And
Yep.
he had like intentionally layered materials in the walls of that box. And then he actually got in trouble and got imprisoned, and they
Oh my
like burned
gosh.
all of his material. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so there's something to it. As soon as you hear that, someone was onto something and then they got thrown in jail and everything was burned, like it's always kind of, they were onto something.
Yeah. Something was up. Something was up.
What was he doing?
So there's something to that organite, but
Very interesting.
yeah, I always found that until I researched it in depth, I was like, is this all hocus pocus? Like, am I just kind of like keeping this crystal here in high hopes? But the more I got into it, I was like, wow, there's something here.
Yeah.
Some history.
It totally, at first I just liked them for the way they looked. And then I got a black tourmaline to wear around my neck because as a wax specialist, people show you their body parts. They start telling you their whole life story, like, right?
I can totally attest to that. I keep an extra box of tissues in my room because I feel like I'm that person that people are just attracted to me and they want to tell me everything. And I just cry with them.
Yep. I had a person cry on Friday in my room. Like they just get to chatting. And as much as I'm like an empath and I love to like help people, it can be wearing because we're seeing up to 4 people in 1 hour. So when you're there for 6 hours, you can see 20 people in a day.
Yeah.
And so it's like energy in, energy out, like, whew. And after 6 hours, you're just wiped, especially as an empath. So I got a black tourmaline to wear around my neck. And I did not know I was supposed to be clearing it like every day. So thank you for telling me today because I need to be doing that. But when I wear it, I actually feel like stronger when I leave work. Like
really?
At first I thought it was like same thing. I thought it was like hocus pocus. I was like, well, I just had an extra power shake. So that's probably why I'm feeling better. Like I had a more nutritious lunch. So that's why I feel better.
Or I'm just like thinking about wearing the crystal. And so that's like in my head, but
it has been proven. I've had it for over a year and I know for sure I stopped wearing it for quite some time. And then just recently with all the health stuff, I'm like, why am I not wearing this? This is such a simple, easy little tool. And the last week I've been wearing it. I'm like, oh, duh, I knew this. It just feels so much better. That black tourmaline, it's like
very
so
protective.
Yeah.
So it keeps like people, it's not like people stop sharing with me, right? Like I'm not putting off anything negative. It's that they can come to me and share their feelings, but I just don't draw it in. I can hear them, verbally hear them and empathize with them and converse, but I don't have to like absorb all that negativity. So,
which is really hard when you're like empathic. You just want to, you like
you
naturally do that.
Yeah, you don't just sympathise. You legit feel the
You're like,
pain.
let me absorb that for you. You're okay. I got you.
And then you're just ball of hot mess.
Yeah.
So I want to do like a little game. Should we do a little game?
Yes.
So how about we say a crystal name and you say the first word that comes to your head.
Okay.
Just one word response.
Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this so much.
I know. I feel like I got to look up on like the internet for
I know.
like
I'm like,
some
I know
names.
so many crystals, but
Do you want this too?
As soon as
Yeah,
we
hand
try
me
to
this
do
book.
this, it's gonna
This is going to be
leave
fun.
my brain.
So if you guys are listening and you're not driving, grab a notebook.
It might have to be more than one word.
Oh, girl. Okay.
But it has to be like quick, no
yeah.
pausing.
Yeah, this is going to be like, this is
Okay.
going to be good.
Aquamarine,
Ooh, truth.
Tiger's eye.
Studying.
amber,
Grounding.
Hematite.
Grounding.
serpentine,
Kundalini.
sodalite,
Third eye.
Selenite.
Selenite.
Yeah.
Purification.
opal. Got her with opal.
I know, because I'm like stuck on opals right now. I've literally been looking at so many opals. Oh my God. It's like the one thing. Just angelic, like purification, angelic.
Ooh, that's a good one. Diamond.
Strength.
Strength.
What about this one? Flame aura.
Ooh, those are okay. So those are like treated. Whoops. So like you can have like a stone, so like aqua aura, or they're treated with like gold or titanium or different things like that on like a quartz piece, so that it gives like a different like sheen to it.
I know. I was looking at it. It's kind of rainbow iridescent-ish. I was like, I've never seen that.
Do we say jasper yet?
Jasper. Ooh, earthy.
Ooh, earthy.
Topaz.
Beauty.
Okay, one more.
Oh, I got to pick a good one now.
Mandy, drum roll.
I'll be quick.
You guys, this is hard.
Anything.
How do I pick just one more?
Just start naming them.
Just say them all. Let's do. I don't even know how to say this. Just rhodonite.
Rhodonite.
Yeah.
Self-love healing.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh,
A lot
good
of
one
the
to
pink
finish.
ones that you'll see like that are like really truly pink
Uh-huh.
are very, very healing to the heart and like emotional bodies.
So if you're going through things like emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
anything for the heart, pinks and reds.
Okay, really quickly, can we do the opposite? And we'll name a symptom and you can name a crystal that would help with that symptom.
You got
Ooh,
it.
yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
So I'm going to start with depression.
Okay, depression. I really like lithium quartz,
Okay.
which is just like a regular piece of quartz. It kind of has like these purple inclusions, so like different things in them. And that has lithium in it. So that's like just baseline perfect for anybody who feels depressed or anxious. So it kind of works on both.
Okay.
And then lepidolite is kind of like a fairy stone, and that's purple, and that has lithium in it as well.
That's a fun one to say. Lepidolite.
How about
That attracts fairies.
after a breakup?
After a breakup, anything that's going to just be very strengthening. So I like tourmalines for strengthening. Like black tourmaline is very protective. It's that long chain, like shard looking pieces.
Yep.
The harmonizer. So anything tourmaline. So you can find tourmalines that are in different colors. So a lot of the time, if I like black tourmaline, I'll go, okay, I like black tourmaline for protection. I might like the pink tourmaline might resonate with me for love because I know I like tourmalines. So pink tourmaline I actually have right there. And that's what I would use for a breakup. So something
Okay.
that's a harmonizer and self-love
That's a good one.
and protect.
Okay, how about low energy? Like you're sluggish.
Low energy, citrine.
Okay.
Any of the yellow stones, usually low energy, I like yellow because that just kind of like, it's like, oh, it wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like solar plexus, so your willpower.
Okay.
How about for thyroid? That would be like throat chakra, right?
Anything blue. So like the Larimar that I showed you, aquamarine is really, really good for that too. Celestite, which is on there, blue calcite is really good for that as well. Any of the blue stones are really good for throat and third eye.
What about brain fog?
Brain fog. Ooh, mental clarity. Definitely something that has like a striking pattern to it is what I've seen. So like agates work really well for that. There's one that I have that's rutilated quartz, which is actually black tourmaline needles that are like through quartz. And then tiger's eye is really good too.
Okay.
So would the same be for headaches? Like, would you work on the crown chakra then?
Headaches, specifically, I know rhodochrosite works really well, which is a pink stone. So like wearing earrings that are rhodochrosite, if you have migraines, will really, really help them.
That's a good one.
So like it's really, really good too to like for people in your life. Like I've gifted somebody a piece of rhodochrosite earrings, a manager that I had in the past that had really bad migraines. Because I was like, this will help you.
Yeah.
And it will help you a lot more than me. I didn't get them as much. So I was like,
I need that for my husband. He gets migraines every now and then that just kill him.
rhodochrosite.
Gosh. Okay. Rhodochrosite. Say that 3 times
I can't
fast.
even say some of these.
What about, is there anything for physical, like muscle soreness?
I was just going to say that, like inflammation. That was like exactly what I was thinking.
Jinx.
I guess for inflammation, I would use anything that's like clearing because that just
Okay.
helps me feel like.
Getting like the bad vibes out.
So selenite, clear quartz, spirit quartz would probably be really good for that too. Just like on like a detox like level. And
Like
spirit
those
quartz,
detoxes.
spirit quartz is basically a quartz. Instead of it being like one point, if you can imagine like one clear quartz point, it would be like one point with 100 other points pointing off of it.
Okay.
So it's like a cluster of all these little tiny points that make it very sparkly and very like inviting to look at. And a lot of the time they come in like lilac or pink or like white colors.
Nice.
And those are really nice.
What about for like spiritual health? Like if you're like feeling lost, or maybe you're trying to like get back into like a spiritual path, like something that's a little bit more, outside of ourselves. Like
Looking for guidance.
looking for guidance. Yeah. Intuitive.
Okay. So the first stone that was ever gifted to me, the Larimar,
Yeah.
I really, really liked that because when I looked into the history behind it and the folklore behind it, it was related to like Atlantis, basically. Whoever like found it, like prophesized Atlantis. So it's like the Atlantean stone of like truth. And like our generation was meant to like find it and like give us truth and stuff like that. So that like kind of got me on the spark. But once I got Moldavite, I really, really started like leveling up, as I call it, like with my spiritual game. So I feel like at a certain point, I know that I've kind of mastered and like I've used crystals to help me, and I've seen like the outcomes of them, and I've used them and I've thanked them. And then I know like what I need next. Like I kind of like look into like, what do I need next? Like where do I want to go with this? Like, do I want to enhance like my intuition? Do I want to be more grounded and really, really grounded with the earth? Do I want to, be more loving and like really connect to other people?
Okay, last one. I just thought of something. What if you have to take a test? Like you're studying for a test. What stone would you take with you?
Hawk's eye, which is a blue tiger's eye.
Okay, hawk's eye.
Hawk's eye.
Very specific.
Very. So I used to keep it in a little bag and clip it inside like my binders for school when I was in massage school. I like keep it in there. So every time I would study, I would put that over top of it and it would kind of like solidify. I've done my work. I've like put it in my brain. I know that I'm going to be able to do well.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice.
Yay.
Hawk's eye.
Hawk's eye.
Okay.
I feel like I just learned so much.
I know. I thought I knew about crystals until this episode.
There's so much you can learn though too. Like there's so much you can do. I learn every day. I go online and I look and I read a lot. Crystal vaults and healing crystals for you, I read a lot about, but
Okay.
they bring in just every different part that you could, like dates that are associated with it of the year and colors that are associated with it and like religions that are associated with it and just everything. There's so many different ways that they've been used throughout history.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for sharing your genius with us.
Oh, thanks for having me so much.
Is there one final thought or any final thoughts that you want to leave with our listeners?
Ooh, well, again, thanks for having me. The one thing that I've learned through my crystal journey is that you just pick anything that you're drawn to. Even if you're like, oh, I only like it for the way that it looks, it probably is doing a lot more for you than you think. Like what you're looking at is probably like helping you in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And then just be intuitive about it. Place them everywhere. Don't feel weird about it. Like do whatever you want with them. And then like think of them as a magnet for whatever's going on in your body. You're using it to like help heal anything in your body, and really seeing it as a manifestation tool. Like whatever you put into it, it's going to give back to you. So if you're really spending time clearing your crystals and putting the love that you want into them and spending time maybe meditating with it in your hand and saying like, I want to use you for this and please do this for me, and like it'll give it back to you.
Yeah.
So like using it as that really helps. That's my journey with it.
I love
That's
it.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you for
guys.
coming.
It was amazing.
That was Courtney live in studio talking about crystals, your beginner's guide.
Your beginner's guide.
For any questions, you can email us. We'll put Courtney's contact info below if you are local and want to get a massage or a Reiki session.
Yes.
Get your chakras analyzed and balanced.
Absolutely.
And she can guide you to which crystals might help for certain things in person. So thank you so much again, Courtney, for hanging out with us. I learned so much, and I hope everyone that was listening took really good notes. And we will catch you guys next week with a whole new episode. So have an amazing week, everyone. And don't forget, whether you're cleansing or celebrating, cheers!
Thank you for listening to the Wheatgrass and Champagne podcast. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Join the Wheatgrass and Champagne community on Instagram, Facebook, and wheatgrassandchampagne.com. Details from this episode can be found in the show notes below. Tune in next Wednesday as we continue to seek the perfect balance between indulging and upgrading. Until then, cheers.